Welcome to the second module of the Grassroots webinar. In the first module, we presented the Coach Commission project and the role of the coach at the grassroots level. The second module will lay the proper foundation of an athlete's warm-up, as well as teach the proper techniques for catching and throwing the ball correctly. Let's start with the presentation. To start, we will watch a short video that shows the slogan of the WBSC.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
The quote, "Teamwork makes the dream work," is a good phrase that captures the philosophy that every coach should have when working within a team sport. Now we will talk about a player's warm-up. At the grassroots level, our main focus is to actively engage with the boys and girls and recruit them to play baseball and softball while instilling the basic foundation of the sport. We will not spend a lot of time on their warm-up for two main reasons. First, warm-ups can be perceived as boring, and as we are just introducing the concept of the sport to the children, we want to focus on sports-specific items that they can have fun with. Second, if we are introducing the sport into the school, we may only have 45 minutes to 1 hour for the lesson. This is not a lot of time, and we want the children to understand the concepts of baseball and softball through short-sighted games that replicate the movements that an athlete will use while playing the sport. Having said that, it is still important to take the children through a warm-up from an injury prevention standpoint, as well as to lay the correct athletic foundation moving forward. We will now see a few drills that will keep the children engaged while introducing the ball and working on body coordination. Please note, when possible, to use a cone or a different marker to better organize the warm-up lines. Let's look at a few different warm-up exercises that can be utilized that will be both fun for the children as well as serve the intended purpose of getting them ready to play the game. Please note that there are other exercises and drills that can be used at this stage, as these are only a few examples. In the top left of the screen, we have a drill called one-legged jump. The kids, split evenly in groups of 4, 2 per side, have to jump with the right leg first, then on the left leg in the direction of the partner, and once at a close distance, toss the ball to their partner. As you can see, we're working on coordination and at the same time on the basic movements associated with catching and throwing. At the top center of the screen, we have a second drill called pick up and toss. This is the same concept as the one-leg jump in terms of splitting the children evenly in groups and then splitting each group between 2 different lines. From one side, the athlete will sprint and pick up the ball and toss it to their partner. The partner will then catch the ball and sprint halfway to place the ball in the original spot on the ground. Please make sure all of the children underhand toss the ball to their partner with a firm, accurate toss. The specific movement that is being shown on this slide is a baseball and softball specific movement that will be utilized during games in various situations that will be explained at different points through the WBSC coach licensing levels. At the top right-hand corner of the screen is the third warm-up drill called circle toss. Kids, always split into groups with even numbers, are working again on coordination, an accurate underhand toss to their partner, and then a catch. At the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you will see a drill labeled one-handed cone dribble. Please notice that the cones are set up in a circular fashion. If you do not have cones, use another marker that will give the children a pathway to follow. Once the necessary circle is created, the children will begin by walking and bouncing the tennis ball onto the ground and then catching the tennis ball while keeping their palm facing down throughout the entirety of the drill. The children will start the drill by utilizing their right hand first, then switching to the left hand once they get to the second cone, and then alternating hands from the left hand to the right hand at the third cone. Once the children complete a full circle while walking, they will do the same exact sequence on the second circle, but while jogging, to add an additional coordination into the drill. Finally, if a coach wants to add another layer of coordination and cognitive thinking into the drill, the coach can tell the children when to change hands, as well as place of the exercise once the children reach each cone. On the bottom right of the screen, we have the last warm-up drill called fishbowl. The kids are like fishes, split inside a square that represents the fishbowl. The coach will change exercises between backward, which we will see the kids backpedal once the coach yells out, jump, which will literally have the kids jump once the coach yells this instruction, forward, the children will jog forward, ground ball, the kids will simulate fielding a ground ball, fish food, the children will go to touch one of the cones, normally the closest one, shuffle, the kids will shuffle side to side, and jump and bump, where the children will jump while bumping into each other. This drill will last between 60 to 90 seconds, with the children executing the different movements numerous times. This is a fun drill to end warm-ups with, and will teach the children how to quickly react and make decisions based off of the voice of the coach. To reiterate, the exercises on the screen are only a handful of exercises that can be utilized to activate the children's bodies while working on coordination and adding an element of fun. The important thing to remember for the grassroots warm-up is to make sure the children get loose, are developing the basic fundamental movements of baseball and softball, and most importantly, are having fun. Your warm-up at the grassroots level should last between 5 to 10 minutes based on the time available before moving on to the next fundamental. The next fundamental we will go through in this grassroots webinar is the most important fundamental in baseball and softball, catching and throwing. Catching and throwing can be initially difficult to learn, but is crucial to lay the proper foundation of catching and throwing for the children. A child, or any person in general, cannot play defense if they cannot first play catch. For the execution of the drills, you will need balls, preferably a tennis ball, sponge ball, or a softer ball in general, and cones. Each child will also need to use a glove, since the glove is something not familiar for the children and can be seen as difficult to use. A coach must first show the children how to hold and use the glove in order for the children to become more comfortable with it before starting the drills. During each drill, we need to focus on the body's position and the movement of the children's feet. All children should be set up in a good athletic position with their weight on the balls of their feet, legs slightly bent with a straight torso, and both hands out in front in a relaxed position with their palms facing their throwing partner. We must stress and teach the children to follow the ball at all times with both eyes, the appropriate and different ways to catch the ball depending on whether it is above or below their belt, and the proper footwork associated with playing catch. As we move specifically into the throwing aspect of catching and throwing, there are a few key points that the coach must focus on with the children. Key points are: first, the proper way to grip the ball. Second, the correct arm action with both their glove arm and their throwing arm. Third, the proper release point. Fourth, the proper lower body sequence in relation to their upper body movements. And fifth, the child follow through. The pictures on this slide show the 5 steps to throwing. In terms of the player's grip, let's look at the video. The WBSC instructor shows the 4-seam and the 2-seam grip, explaining that the proper way to grip a ball is with 4 seams. We then teach the children to hold the ball by first showing the number 3 or the number 4 with our fingers. Please note that the thumb must be used when showing these numbers. The proper way to hold a baseball is with 3 fingers, but for baseball players with smaller hands, and for softball players specifically, the 4-finger grip will be the grip utilized. Once you have determined the appropriate grip for each child, you must show them how to place their fingertips across the horseshoe portion of the laces. This specific placement is referred to as a four-seam and will allow for the children, along with the proper mechanics, to have throws that do not tail off of their intended direction and are straight to their target. A simple drill that every kid can do to learn the proper grip, as you can see in the video, is to slightly toss the ball in the air, catch it, and then find a four-seam grip by themselves. Now, let's look at the 5 frames on the screen, which shows the steps a child must take to make a proper throw. The first frame shows the starting point of the throw, with the child having both hands out in front of their body. When the separation of the player's throwing hand from their glove begins, the throwing hand will begin to extend in a circular fashion down towards the ground, while their glove hand moves towards the direction of the target, as you can see in the second frame. The third frame shows the player right before the release point, with their glove hand pointed directly at their target, or the throwing hand is 90 degrees above their shoulders. The fourth frame shows the player's chest moving towards their glove being pulled towards their chest, and their throwing arm following their body movement towards the proper release point. In the fifth frame, you will see the follow-through with the player's throwing arm moving towards the ground and decelerating. In terms of the lower body, frame by frame, we see the short first step with the player's throwing side foot in the direction of the target, followed by a long step with their glove side foot as outlined in frame number 2 and number 3. When their glove side foot hits the ground, their hips and torso rotate as shown in frame 4. Frame number 5 shows that when the ball is released, the throwing side foot follows through. This slide has 2 different drills that will help with the hand-eye coordination of a player from a catch and throw perspective, as well as a series drill that will allow a coach to take a player through a step-by-step sequence of catching and throwing. The first video, which is shown on the left of the screen, is called the one-handed wall dribble. In order to complete the one-handed wall dribble, you will need a wall as well as a tennis or sponge ball. Standing approximately 40 to 50 centimeters from the wall with the elbow at the same level of the shoulders, the children should toss the ball against the wall and then catch the ball with the same hand. It is recommended to have each child complete 3 sets with 15 repetitions per set per hand. This specific drill is very good for the children's hand-eye coordination as well as catching abilities. The second video, which is shown on the right side of the screen, is called full sequence. As you can see, each child will start on their knees with no glove catching the ball with 2 hands until the ball is secured. It is important throughout this whole drill that each child follow the ball into their hands with their eyes. Once they complete the drill with both hands, the child will execute the same drill, but with their catching hand only, and then create an arm circle with a slight shoulder turn to make an easy throw back to their target. The third portion of the drill will see the players standing up, catching the ball with their glove, and utilizing an arm circle and shoulder turn to throw the ball back to their target. The final sequence of the full sequence drill will see the players catching the ball with their glove and then using the proper throwing mechanics and footwork to throw the ball back to the target. A foundational belief of the Coach Commission, especially at the grassroots level, is that baseball and softball should be fun. Yes, baseball and softball have a lot of techniques and fundamentals that a player must learn in order to be successful. But if they do not have fun playing, then they will leave the sport. On this slide, we'll go through a few results-oriented games that will stress the proper fundamentals of catching and throwing, while also allowing for the children to compete and have fun. On the left of the screen, we have a contest called The Longest Throw. We will allow everyone the opportunity to see how far They can throw a ball without going into the technical or mechanical explanations. After throwing the ball, every child will sit on the ground where their throw landed. The child with the longest throw is the winner. At the center of the screen, we have our second game called dodgeball. As you can see, the children must be split into 2 equal teams in a large square with a middle line must be created with either cones or a different object to be used as markers. The players must remain inside the field at all times. The player has to throw the ball and hit a member of the other team. If the receiver catches the ball, the one who has thrown the ball is out. Vice versa, if the person trying to catch the ball touches the ball with any part of their body but is unsuccessful in catching it, resulting in the ball touching the ground, the person the ball touched is out. At the right of the screen, we have our last game called pig hunting. The coach can set up a teddy bear or a different animal or an available object in general. Here we had a pig available. There are 2 different ways to play this game. First, all the kids throw out the object at the same time, and whoever misses the object is out of the competition. This will repeat until there is only one child left standing as the winner. Or 2, the children go one at a time. Again, whoever misses the target is out of the competition until we have a winner. Please note that you can change the distance of the throws depending on the age and ability level of the children. Another drill could be a playing catch between 2 children and seeing how many times they can catch and throw the ball amongst one another without dropping the ball. The goal is to create more engagement amongst the children by converting drills into contests, such as counting how many throws each set of partners can do in 30 or 60 seconds. The couple that is the most wins. We've gotten to the end of the second module of the Grassroots webinar. Thank you for watching, and please remember, it's game time.